Hello, Spaces Unleashed. My name is Jason Zakowski, aka Dad Guy.
And I am Chris Zakowski, aka Mummy Fave.
Every week we give you the lowdown about what's happening with Bunsen and Beaker. We answer your questions, but most importantly, we want to hear your stories about your pets. So, here we go. Hold on to your tail. It's Spaces Unleashed. Now, Chris, could you talk about your Bunsen and Beaker story first? And then, I put some stuff up the nest, and then we'll circle back to Ginger, unless you want to talk about Ginger.
Sure. I can talk about Bunsen today at Wagon Play. So I took him to Wagon Play after the Wagon Walk, which I think is going to be your story to talk about today. But he was being cute, and another dog mom had Tucker, and she brought Tucker over to this board, this agility board that has been on the ground, but today it was up against a boulder, and so it looked like a ramp. And so she was trying to give Tucker treats to go up the ramp, like agility.
Yep.
And Bunsen's like, oh yes, my name is Tucker, and I will be here right by you. And these treats, yes, please. So she got Tucker to go up the ramp, and Bunsen also got a treat. And he walked right up behind Tucker and kind of crowded him at the top because he's like, oh yeah, I'm here, treats. And he was my agility dog today. Just went up the ramp like a cutie pie, like it was nothing.
Yeah, he is surprisingly sure-footed. Like, he's big, yes, and he can be in the way, but he doesn't like fall over. Like, he is pretty stable, and like, he's just built to climb mountains. So I think like the climbing thing he's super good at.
Well, and there was another gentleman there who isn't familiar with the burner lean. Burner, yeah, the burner lean, the burner, I'm going to come right by you and you're going to pet me and I'm going to lean into you. And not only that, you're going to fall over. Yeah. But the guy was not sure-footed, but he didn't fall. He just was like, whoa. Oh. I'm like, well, this is you now. You've got the burner lean. He selects who he leans into, and it's you. And that was a good laugh. Yeah, he's a good boy.
Yeah, Bunsen's knocked over a bunch of kids at the high school. Like, they crouch down to give him a hug, and he just swings his hips into them and hip checks them right over, and then everybody's laughing. So, yeah, so I'll talk about a real quick pet story, and that was on Wagon Walk. So Waggles is the dog training place, and they have a couple different things you can do with your dogs. They're amazing, actually. Like, they have Dogya. What's it called? Dogya. You can go do yoga with your dog there. Maybe we should do that. I don't know.
Downward facing dog.
Yeah, so you can do yoga with your dog, which is cute. But they also do group walks with your dog, so you can practice leash walking, and that's something that Bunsen and Beaker don't really have a lot of experience with because we live where we don't need to have them really on a leash. Like, we live way out in the country. So it was awesome taking them on Wagon Walk, and Beaker did so good. She was really concerned that Bunsen was ahead of her. You were walking a little ahead, so Beaker was barking to catch up. And then Bunsen was a rock star, as he always is. He got along with everybody. He loves the little dogs. He really likes little dogs. And then he was kind of the safety police. We got to a playground, and some of the people with their dogs went up on the playground. And Bunsen, of course, being Mr. Safety Police, he was watching everybody and making sure everybody was okay. And he was very concerned when an owner went up to the top of the slide with their dog. He's like, I don't know about that. Safety dog Bunsen has some issues with what you're doing. So that was cute on the walk. So up in the nest, there's a couple tweets from barkandbeyondsupply.com. And just a shout out to them for being our sponsor. I've got a couple tweets. One is a cool Easter giveaway. So you can check that out. They're giving away $220 with a value. And the other thing is maple bacon dog ice cream. I think I would eat that, Chris. I think I would tie into some maple bacon ice cream because you're a vegetarian, so you don't eat bacon. But there's a secret to bacon and pancakes. You put maple syrup on the bacon. Oh my goodness, that is a delicious treat. Are you busy with Bunsen? Is he being a little toddler time right now?
It's terrible. So
Oh,
I've now trying to move into the office.
yeah. You'll just have to leave him. Leave him. He's gonna follow you. Should we talk about the main science today before we let everybody else who wants to share their stories up? And that is how I'm not allergic to ginger.
Okay, this is shocking. This is 100% shocking that this is actually going to work out. I am
can't believe
elated.
I can't believe you used science against me to get this cat here.
Well, I'm very glad ProPlan has made this food, and I'm very glad I did some research, and I'm very glad for our followers who made this happen. Because they suggested this food, and I looked into it, and I was telling you about it, and I did. I used the science against you to have success.
Because I did a story about this. I did a story about the ProPlan Nestle product. Like, we're not sponsored by this at all, but it's the only one on the market right now.
Yeah.
Anyways, do you want me to talk about the science? I've got it all ready to go.
You do the science chat. You bet.
So I brought up my notes for when I did a story on this food like a year and a half ago. I did a story on the Science Podcast, like season 2, probably like a while ago. And I keep all of my notes, and I for some reason I'm organized with my podcast notes. So what this food has is an egg protein in the food that binds with this commonly occurring allergen in saliva, and the egg protein binds with this allergen, and the allergen is called FeLD1. It itself is also a protein, so the egg protein in the cat diet binds with FeLD1, this protein that they've determined is the biggest culprit for giving people allergies, and it effectively removes it from the cat's saliva. So one of the things that gets people really allergic to cats is the hair that's in the air. Because when a cat hair comes off their body, we talked about this in the podcast, it splinters, unlike dog hair. So it breaks into smaller pieces. And then that can work its way into your nose and your eyes with its jagged ends a little bit more than dog hair. But that's not the worst part. It's that it's coated with this, when they lick themselves, with this FeLD1 protein that comes from them breaking down food that they eat. Cats are true carnivores, so their diet is animal proteins pretty much entirely. But this egg protein takes the FeLD1 out, and for most people, it knocks out the allergic reaction to cats. And it is shocking, Chris. I cuddle with this cat. I picked this cat up. I tried something today where I breathed the cat in, and I'm not plugged up. My eyes aren't burning. The only thing I have to be careful about is if I touch my eyes after I pet the cat. So it's pretty amazing.
Why are you doing experiments like testing? I guess that's good. I guess that's
the guy that discovered Helicobacter pylori caused stomach ulcers just ate a bunch of it to prove himself right. So you know what? There's mad science happening all the time, and I'm just one of those people.
That is mad science happening today. And I'm amazed and delighted that this works. Now, it's not foolproof. It is on the bag. It says it's 47% effective with an effective rate. But you know what? For you to go and be able to cohabitate with this wonderful feline, I say it's 100%. But that's just...
Now, you had Ginger didn't just come to her house. We've had her on this diet for like a month somewhere else, right?
Yes. So we adopted her, and then my stepdad fostered her, I guess you would say. And I bought the food, and I said, please feed her this food, and please wipe her down with this rag and this other kind of stuff that I found that was recommended through our Twitter friends. And he didn't do that. And Duncan didn't do that. Our son, I asked my son to help whenever he went over to Gord's house. No, they didn't rub the cat.
They didn't rub the cat with the anti-dander shampoo?
No, and
Oh,
no,
okay.
so we didn't tell you that. That's part of the experiment,
Oh,
I guess.
hey.
You you thought she was getting not only rubbed but whatever she ate. No, there was yeah. There was no rub down happening, but since she's been home, I have a mitt and I rub her, and she doesn't run away from the mitt anymore, so that's good.
Now people are gonna ask, like, what is the thing? I did the research on the food. Like, it's called, what's the food called? Like, what do I got up here? Purina Pro Plan. That's what it's called.
Yeah,
and there
live vitality.
Yeah, there could be others on the market, but like the one when I did the research, this was the only one that was out there, and there could be more. What's the thing you wipe them down with? Because people are gonna be asking about that.
Well, it's
or did I put you on the spot? It's downstairs. Yep. Okay, well, we'll get that.
It's downstairs by you. It's in the laundry room right by her litter box.
Okay, I'll check, and you just keep talking. One sec.
Okay. And I do have a mitt. And my main concern was that she's a long-haired cat. And her hair fluffs everywhere. So I really thought it was a double whammy that she would not be successful living here. And we made sure that we would be able to foster her at Gord's house, and that he would be able to take her back if it didn't work out here. And Jason was a little bit of a negative Nelly about the food. He's like, I think this food is not going to work. And I'm glad that it is working. Are you back, Jason? No, he's probably can't find it. It's right beside the litter box.
I found it. I was reading the ingredients. It's called Allerg Pet.
Yep.
And I think the ingredients are a bunch of pseudoscience, Chris. So I'm not sure. It looks like it's like a bunch of like aloe and tea tree oil. Maybe that helps just keep the dander down. But I'm not seeing anything that you couldn't just decide to mix up yourself with stuff from a health food store. But anyways. I'm glad it's working. I guess I'm a believer now. You've made me a believer out of the pet food and your pseudoscience shampoo wipe down spray thing.
I really think it's the food. 100%.
Yeah. Okay. The food. Me too.
Yeah. And it's amazing. Like, if you knew Jason when I had Poco, when we first started dating, and we first got together, that's got to be 26 years ago. If you knew Poco, also long hair, definitely Jason was swelled up, his eyes, he got sinus infections.
Oh, it was terrible.
It was terrible. And like the first day I was walking on pins and needles going, are your eyes okay? Yeah. Are you feeling?
Every time I saw a cat, do you know what was going through my head?
What?
You can't touch this.
You can't touch this. But then you also thought maybe having exposure to Fluffy Bunsen helped you with that too.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. Anyways, like, the cat's super cute. I have a soft spot for cats. I really like cats, but whenever I was around them, I'd literally start to die. So, so I'm really happy especially for you and Adam, because you both love cats so much. And that ginger cat is a sweetheart. She is super, super cute. You can hold her like a baby. Well, yeah, I hold her like a baby.
You do. Yeah, you do. It's very cute. It's very cute to see Jason bond with this cat, but she's definitely Adam's cat.
Yeah.
When he's home, she is with him. And one thing we don't enjoy about cats is that they jump on the counter. So now our next strategy is, hey, how do you get your cat to stop jumping on the counter? I think the solution is to not have a cat. But that's not our solution. We have our cat now. So if anybody has some good ideas about how to keep them on the floor, all four paws on the floor, that would be great.
Put tinfoil everywhere.
Okay, I have tinfoil in the Bird of Paradise plant, and she has not gone back.
I know, they don't like that. I fact checked your weird solution, and actually, it's suggested by vets.
Okay.
In the nest, I have a link to our newsletter. So another sponsor of this space of Pet Chat is the Pup Date, and that is the newsletter that lets you know what's going on with Bunsen and Beaker It breaks down a little bit what happened in the week, but it's also got a recap and links to the podcast episode that's out that week, who the science guest is, and reminders and times for our spaces. So if you haven't signed up for our newsletter, it's in the nest. All right, Chris, should we open up the floor to folks who want to come talk about their pets or ask us questions? Or maybe anything else? Yeah?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
We're already getting requests.
That's good. So again, this is a very wholesome family space. We do, of course, like there's some conversations that go off the rails, and that's okay. But try to keep your language family friendly. Remember, we're talking about pets, so let's keep our stories and questions on point. And if we don't recognize you, or if you're an account that looks suspicious, you won't get up to the speaker panel, and that's our decision. And I'm sorry about that. You can always DM us too if you don't want to tell your story, just because public speaking is freaky. So yeah, you can DM Chris or I, and we'll be checking it throughout the space, and we can read your question or read your story. Chris, you've done a great job as a co-host. You've already brought people up.
Yes, we have Paula, then Heather, and then Snickerdoodle on deck.
Okay. Go, Paula.
Hey, I like that drum roll. I love the sound effects. I crack up. It's great. And it was good first song. I love that, In the Jungle song. That was good. But anyway, I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I know it already went by, but everybody give a heart to Chris. It was their birthday. So happy birthday, Chris. I just think, I hope you had a pretty good day. I know it was tough, but everybody give her a heart. Yeah. Okay. But anyway, my week was kind of crazy. Poor Rosie went in for an emergency dental because her tooth was loose and ended up losing 9 teeth. So small dogs, small mouths are kind of bad, but she's doing good. So that's okay. And, but anyway, and I got some good news with Olive too. She doesn't have Cushing's right now. She's in remission. So
wow.
Yeah, talk about science. Wow, it's incredible. She was on this medicine, and it's called Veterol, and it's for dogs with Cushing's. And she her cortisol levels went really low, and then all of a sudden they said, okay, let's take her off the medicine, and they went to normal. But her eating was kind of really bad. She's been not very good appetite-wise, but we are stunned because we just had another test, and the result came back that she's still normal. So it's kind of. So that's kind of some good news anyway. But my main question is, what made you possessed to ever have Ginger be Southern? Because I am enjoying the tweets. And if I'm telling you, if you're not a part of private Twitter for the Bunsen and Beaker, you got to join because it is so funny. And those tweets with everybody doing with Southern bells and, things from Gone with the Wind. And oh my gosh, it's just too funny. So why did you make her a Southern belle? Okay,
so for context, Paul is talking about in text from Bunsen. I do that every Friday, and I was I guess to be honest, like I wanted to give Ginger a distinct personality, and one of my favorite episodes of The Office is when they are like. Dunder Mifflin is about to go under, and Michael is distracting everybody with a murder mystery party, and everybody's supposed to do Southern accents, and that's why it's just like Michael was like, "There's been I can't do it. I can't do the accent. There's been a murder, I do declare." Like just this, over the top stereotypical Southern accent. And I was like, that'd be perfect for Ginger because Ginger kind of sounds like a Southern name, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know when you were going like just the way you were saying some of the things like sugar.
Yeah.
I was just dying laughing because it is like darling, and you just think like Gone with the Wind, like Red Butler. I was almost ready for something to come off of that or something. But I just thoroughly enjoyed it, so I had to ask because I was wondering, how did you ever come up with that? But it's very clever, and it seems like everybody's really taken off with that.
Yeah, so that was a surprise that people caught that and they liked it, right? So, anyways, yeah.
Yep. And I heard that aluminum foil does work, but I've heard from some of my clients they put aluminum foil on their counters too. So I don't know. because they don't like that sound and the touch on their paws. So I'm sure there's other cat owners that probably have better ideas, but I've seen people do that too. So
good points. I read that too when I was doing my research, Chris. I was tongue in cheek saying on the counter, but it actually suggested that. And
so why didn't you start putting tinfoil on the counter?
Because I've made them. I'm saving them for the hats that I wear.
Okay. Okay.
But no, we have lots of tinfoil. Okay, who's our next speaker, Chris?
Heather O.
Hi, guys. I just wanted to give an update on Winston, my porcupine hunting burner. Him and Bunsen could be
Winston,
twins, I guess. He's feeling much better. Still finding the odd quill in his face, but appreciated everybody reaching out on Twitter. The dog Twitter space is amazing. The care that they showed for him. So I just thought I'd give everybody an update that he's coming along nicely. No,
Heather,
hopefully he learned.
Heather,
Yep.
Can I ask some questions about that? Do
You
mind?
betcha. No, go ahead.
Did you see Winston have the interaction with it, or did it like?
No,
Okay.
I did not. He just came running back.
Yeah.
We'd gone same as you. We live out in the country, and he was on a walk, and he kind of buggered off, and then he came back and with a mouthful of quills. So
it happened so fast. Like I saw the porcupine in the bush when it happened to Bunsen.
Yeah,
and he kind of like shouldered Beaker out of the way, and like it was over in about 5 seconds, and he was just quilled all to heck.
Yeah. He had they were all in his mouth and everything. So I threw him in the car, and we just headed straight to town. So
oh my god, that's what we did too. Just be careful. Watch for them in his shoulders, because that's what happened to Bunsen. I think what happened, Bunsen got them in his mouth, and then he was angry, and he couldn't like bite at the porcupine anymore. So he tried to shoulder check it. I don't know.
Oh yeah, could have any on their long hair. It's so hard to find them. Yeah, I will. The vet said keep an eye on them because he said they could be. But his mouth's pretty sore, but he seems to be recovering, so that's good. But
they're brave bears. Those guys. They're so gentle, but I mean they can step things up to protect you. Even though like a porcupine really isn't an aggressive animal, it's just there.
No, it's just there. But I think they just, and he obviously bit it because everything was in his mouth. But silly guy.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's all. I just wanted to step in and just thank everybody because, like I said, dog Twitter's kept me sane over COVID and everything. So it's great to have this community, and and I started following you guys long before COVID because I thought it was cool because I live not too far from you. Truthfully, I'm on the other end of Red Deer County.
Oh wow, okay.
I live just west of Bowden, so I'm live close. And I thought, oh, that's cool. They're close, and run across a few of your ex-students from Delburn occasionally. I work in Innisfil and with the farmers. And so, I was wearing your masks quite a bit, and they're like, hey, he was my teacher. So that was kind of cool.
Aw.
So
that's adorable. Well, I'm glad.
Thanks for everything.
Yeah, you bet. I'm glad Winston's on the mend.
Yeah.
That's a situation like dogs get sprayed by a skunk. It's just awful and it stinks.
Oh yeah.
But it's scary. I was scared for Bunsen actually. So I'm sure you were scared for Winston too.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And on your cat thing, spray bottles work really well. Cats don't like water.
I read that you have to nail them so they don't see you doing it, so they don't associate you negatively.
Don't associate with it, but it actually does work. Did it with my cat. So, all right, thanks then. Okay, good night.
Good night. I was looking for something up in the cupboard, Chris, and I saw you kept all the quills that they pulled out of Bunsen. They're in a Ziploc bag.
Yep, I did. You never know when you need a bag of porcupine quills.
Yeah, I'm like, what's the point of keeping those? I don't know. But anyways, how many did he get quilled by? How many did they pull out of him? Like 80, 90?
Yeah, at least the first time. And then the second time when we went back in, they pulled more.
Like 4, they had to like cut open his shoulder to get another 4 out. That was a rough go for him. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, over to I don't know who's next, Chris.
Snickerdoodle.
Snickerdoodle. Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
First off, I have to say that if you're going to play the Lion Sleeps Tonight, you can't talk through that song.
Oh, sorry. I got to be quieter. Hey, it's a great song, isn't it?
It's a fantastic song, but you can't talk over it. You have to let us listen to the whole thing uninterrupted.
I do that. See, I do that just in case there's an AI bot listening for copyrighted music. So I'm kind of sneaky that way.
Oh, okay. All right. You're forgiven. All right. I have a story and a question later on. Where I live, our dog park is along the local lake. And I go down there all the time. And a friend of mine came down there, this was a couple of years ago, with a black lab that she had just adopted. But this lab was afraid of the water. And the woman was quite embarrassed that she had a lab that didn't know how to swim. But my dog is part lab, so they got along well. And she wanted to play, but he was in the water. And what he did, we figured this out after a couple of days. He would go to the right to the edge of the water and sort of coax her in, and she would put a paw in and step back. And then a couple of days later, he would go a little bit further in, so that then her whole paw was in the water. And long story short, within about a month and a half, I guess it took, he would go right out into the water where it was deep enough that he could swim. And by then she had gotten over her fear of the water. She would go in and start swimming with him. And once she realized that it wasn't that scary and that she could swim, you couldn't keep them out of the water. And it was just like he knew, and he coaxed her out and taught her to swim. And we thought that was kind of cool.
Just needed to be shown the way, hey?
Yeah, and it was just little bit by little bit by little bit. If she wanted to play, she had to go in the water. That's all there was to it.
That's a big draw for some dogs.
Well, it is. Yeah, and I think she might have been abused when she was younger. Whether it had to do with the water or not, I don't know. But my dog just seemed to know that she just needed to be coaxed out and shown that it wasn't scary, it was fun. And then after that, there was no problem. We couldn't get them out of the water after that. But I also want to make another comment. Last year, during all the fires and everything, I was down at our local ballpark, which I sometimes take the dog to. And there was a vehicle there with an Alberta license. And there was a couple there. I didn't see them initially, but there was a burner and there was a golden retriever there.
Goodness.
And I thought, it's Bunsen and Beaker, except it wasn't.
If we have a
doppelganger. They were. Yes, exactly. And when I saw them a little bit closer, and the couple that were with them came up, and I thought, no, that's not Bunsen and Beaker. I was all excited there for a minute, but the burner was a little bit smaller. It looked like, from what I've seen pictures of Bunsen, this one looked a little bit smaller. But I thought that was pretty cool to see these two dogs together. They seem to be a good match, those two breeds of dogs.
Yeah, we're not the only people that have a burner and golden duo. Kathy Zerker, who's in here right now, she has a burner and golden duo. And there's lots of people that do, like, they have their personalities match each other so nicely. One's a little bit more stoic and the other one's a little bit more high energy. They're just really neat mix.
Yeah. And one thing I was wondering about, and I don't know if there's any scientific study on this or not, most of my dogs have been male and they've bonded with me. The one female that I had bonded with my husband. And I was wondering if there's any studies that show that a male dog will bond with the female human and the female dog will bond with the male human.
So I did look into that on the Science Podcast. I was just actually talking about this the other day. And it's there needs to be more research done to conclude like a dog bonding with a certain gender. But the evidence is pretty conclusive that male dogs generally bond quicker to more people in the family, and female dogs are not less affectionate, but they're more reserved than a male dog. And that's not the case for every dog, but that's on average.
Oh, that's interesting. One of the dogs I had was a Border Collie, Rough Collie mix. And we lived out on top of a mountain, and there was wildlife out there. And my parents and I were out there with this dog one day, and it was in the spring, and the bears were out, and we saw a couple of cubs, and my dog instantly went in front of my mother and pushed her back. My father was on his own as far as the dog was concerned, but he was instantly in front of my mother to get her away from these cubs. So I just wondered about that.
A protective thing is that's something that some dogs just have ingrained in them. They'll protect their people just like they would protect their puppies, male or female. Awesome. Very cool.
Yeah. Dog. Oh, yeah. Well, my father wasn't too impressed because he was left on his own to deal with these bears. Not that they were bothering us, but he's like, okay, I know who the dog is going to protect. I'll be on my own, and the women will be fine. But anyway, I just want to give those little stories, and thanks for listening. And I was going to say you can't talk through the song, but no, there's a reason why you do, so that's okay.
If you hear me doing that, it's to kind of mess with the algorithm a little bit, because I have heard from other Spaces hosts they got in trouble if they just straight up play copyrighted music. We have like our music that we have produced ourselves. It doesn't matter because we own the rights. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, thank you.
Hey, Chris, did you know there's a really good defense to a bear? Like, have you heard about the bear defense?
I'm thinking that this is going to be a joke.
Yeah, you just have to be faster than the slowest person. That's your defense.
Okay, so here's the other defense. When you're driving down the road and you see the billboard that says, "Hear it before you see it." Okay,
I don't know if anybody's going to get that except people going to Banff in Alberta, Canada.
I know, but there is this billboard. There's a billboard that now Adam and I use as a running joke because he thinks I'm hard of hearing and I need to get my hearing tested. And so he'll always say to me, "Hear it before you see it," because that's what you want to do. You want to hear the bear before you see the bear, because if you see the bear, then I think it's too late. Yeah.
I've been around a bunch of bears. They don't make any sound, Chris. They're pretty quiet. They kind of make huffing sounds.
Well, I would not be able to hear the huffing sound, so I would be supper for the bear.
They make no more sound than like you've seen like mountain goats up close. Have you? Have you been close to mountain goats up close?
Yes, when in the safety of my vehicle.
Yeah, they don't make any sound. Like they don't go around making like cow sounds or anything like that. Bears are really quiet.
Okay. So the sign is misleading. The sign is misleading to go get your hearing tested. They're scaring you with disinformation or misinformation about bears making sound.
Yeah, no,
I think bears make sound. I think they do.
They can make sound, but if they want to eat you, they're going to be quiet. Like predators don't go roar and then they attack you, right? Because they'll scare you away. They're just like sneak up on you and murder you. That's what they do.
Okay.
Like, do cats go meow and then take out a bird? No, they just sit there super quiet and then they murder it.
And they go thick with their claws.
And that's
make that sound.
Snick. I don't know. I need the Wolverine. Yeah. Okay, we need to go to our next guest, Chris. We're off the rails again.
Okay. Shona. Did Shona just speak?
Nope.
Okay. It is Shona as our next guest.
Shona.
Hi.
Hello.
I was just laughing to myself at your like off the rails discussion. So I'm going to try to regroup. I just, I originally only wanted to tell one story, and then I started listening. Now I want to tell 5. I'm going to stick to the one.
Okay.
Here's the story. I was watching your post where Ginger was like on your couch, I guess, watching the turtles in the aquarium.
Mm-hmm.
It was like super zen. My cats, I have it. I don't have turtles. I'm actually looking at my house and trying to figure out if I have the capacity for an aquarium for turtles. That's another story for another day. I have a goldfish tank in my kitchen that I had to remove from my classroom during COVID because of the fact that like no one would feed them. It's now in my kitchen. My cats, if I open up the top, they very gently and respectfully scoop the water out of the aquarium with their paw to drink it.
Wow.
And I was watching Ginger, watching Carl and Sagan, and I was like, Ginger's going to go over there one day and just scoop the water respectfully out of Carl and Sagan's tank into her mouth in a very gentle, calm way. And yeah, just I guess I just wanted to caution you. It's going to happen, you guys. It's going to happen one day.
Well,
one of these days.
I hope she doesn't fall in because those tanks are deep. The big one is huge.
I know. No, they're fine. This is actually not the first cat that I've had that has done this. Mm-hmm. They sort of like they look at the depth of the water. They evaluate the depth of the water. They test the depth of the water with either their nose or their paw. And then depending on the cat, they will either like drink it or they will scoop it with their paw and drink it. And scoop it with their paw and drink it. And so one of my cats does that with my goldfish tank. She has no interest in the fish. She has no interest in the tank. She's interested in the water. And if I open it up, she will go over, she will sniff it, she will test it, and then she will very gently scoop it up into her mouth and drink it. It's very delicate, it's very graceful, and Ginger looks a lot like one of my cats, and I feel like she has that capacity. So just watch out. One of these days, Carl and Sagan are going to get a cat drinking their water. If there's a perch and a capacity to do so, she will do it. 100%.
Are you worried about this, Chris?
Well, now I am.
I have a video. I have a video of Cookie drinking off of the goldfish tank. It's very safe. It's very safe. No one is in danger at all. It's totally fine. It's like a symbiotic relationship. It's fine.
I know Ginger drinks a ton of water. Like she drinks the dog water and then they're like, what is going on here? She's drinking all our water.
Well, this is actually an interesting thing about cats that I've noticed over the years because I've had cats and dogs. It's funny because I grew up with Goldens, but we also had cats. So when I see all your like stories of like Beaker and Ginger and like they're fine. It's fine. They're going to be fine. Like our Goldens and our cats were like besties. And I looked after my sister-in-law's dogs. My cats were just like, yeah, you're okay. It's totally fine. It's fine. You have nothing to worry about. It's good content though. So like keep it up. But in terms of just like what to expect, I guess, it's very, very interesting how cats perceive water. I have in my house, like we had cats before we had dogs, and then we had dogs. But I always, when I was a very small person, like a little 1-year-old, there's photographs of me in a laundry basket covered with Siamese cats. Like, we had cats before we had dogs. Cats have an interesting relationship with water. So I have a water bowl and the food, and they have no interest in the water. When I had dogs, when I looked after dogs, didn't matter where the water was. It was totally fine. We're going to drink the water wherever it is. It's fine. For the cats, I have a very special water bowl that's outside in the summertime, and then a like bespoke glass water bowl beside the fireplace for the cats. Do they drink the water that's beside their food? They do not. Do they drink the water from the bespoke, handmade, handcrafted, glass-fused water bowl in the living room beside the fireplace? 100%.
Well, I think they just need a little bit of fancy in their life.
They do. You know what? They do. They do. So if you have a very fancy bowl that's decorative, you should fill it with water and put it like in the middle of the most beautiful spot in your house. And Ginger will drink the water from that bowl. And she will be very disdainful of her water bowl beside the food.
We're going to have to try this. We're going to have to try this, Chris.
Well, there's truth to it, because like she's not drinking out of her water bowl that's by her food.
Yeah, and I actually found that my cats were not drinking enough water. So, like, in the summertime, it's easier because I have a porch. I don't let them out because they'd be eaten in 2 seconds. Like, we have fishers, we have raptors, we have all kinds of predators around here. Mm-hmm. It's not safe. But I do have a screened-in porch so they can be outside without being outside.
Oh, that's nice.
Like, they're not Bunsen. They cannot defend themselves against predators. They'll be eaten, so I don't let them outside. But I've put these sort of like sources of water that look sort of different around the house. And in the wintertime, I can't put the water outside, obviously, because Quebec, it's cold. Red Deer, it's cold. You put water outside, it's going to freeze in 30 minutes. They cannot drink that water. It's in a solid form. So I got this like really nice glass bowl that I had as a decorative object, and I filled it with water, and I just put it beside the fireplace in this spot. It was like, if you walked into my house, you're like, that's a weird place for a decorative item, but I guess that's fine. That's where they drink their water from.
I love it.
Now they are drinking the right amount of water. So if you have a nice decorative bowl that you can put in a weird spot that Ginger can jump up onto without like being an interloper in your kitchen, she'll get the right amount of water. And then she won't try to dive in and like take Carl and Sagan's water.
I feel like if we leave like bowls of water all around the house, we're gonna be like a sequel to Signs.
100%.
M. Night Shyamalan plot twist, water's toxic aliens type thing.
And Ginger will protect you from the aliens. She will be your savior. 100%. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Great story, Shona. Thank you.
No problem.
You'll have to save some of the other ones for next week.
I will save all my stories for the next week.
Awesome. Good to talk to you again.
Yeah.
I believe Kay Lucchini is next, and then Kimberly Bond will bring up.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yeah, hello.
Hi. So I wanted to continue the topic of cats dipping their paws in water to drink, because that's exactly what my cat does. We do not or turtle tank that you guys have. But Chris, definitely that is an instinctive thing, I think, for cats too. I call it dipping and sipping, where they scoop their paws into the water dish and lick it off their paws rather than sticking all their whiskers and their face into the bowl. Maybe it's just too much for them to get their face down close to the water or something. I don't know. But all of my cats have done that, and I've had cats all of my life. So the dipping and sipping is a definite thing that cats do. So maybe just make sure that your tank cover is secure enough that Ginger can't really dislodge it. I don't know if you put chemicals or any sort of cleaner or anything in the tank for the turtles that you wouldn't want the cat to get a hold of, but it's just something. It's a cat behavior for sure. So it's there. It's a cat thing.
I believe Chris does put.
And then the other thing.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm sure Chris does put chemicals in the thing, because I hear her and Duncan talking about Reptisafe. I don't even know what that is.
Yes, we use Reptisafe. And then I'm also now concerned about like the basking area that I've made with the lights on top, because if lights land in the water. So now I have anxiety about this arrangement, but I'm going to fix it because I'm a fixer, not. So
Mm-hmm.
Good tips though to maybe secure the lights just in case.
You just don't. Yeah, no. I understand what you're saying. It's just you'll figure out a way, and it'll be fine. Everybody will be happy, and but just be aware that cats do that. And if she's curious enough to stare at the tank, at some point, like Shona said, she may be so curious that she just wants to go check it out. So the other thing is, and this may sound just odd, but in all my years of owning a cat, I've only had a couple that jumped on the counter. I have one now. She's a Maine Coon mix. She's a very large cat, and I love her to death. And I understand the cleanliness, preferences and you don't want a cat near the stove or anything like that. But is there something I'm missing about not wanting a cat on the counter? Because I've never really tried to dissuade her from getting on the counter. She walks across the counter once, and then she's done, and we're all happy. I don't really try to dissuade her, because there's other things that I don't let her do. Like when we're gone, she has her own bedroom. I don't leave her out in the house. She's a house cat. And here too, if the second you let a cat outside, it's gone. It's history. So I'm just wondering if I'm missing something about, maybe I should be keeping her off the counter. Educate me.
I had some soup out, and she ate my soup.
You had what?
I had some soup, and she ate some of my soup.
Well, that happens. Yes, they eat your soup, and my cat has eaten. We have a raised plate with a domed lid for coffee cake, and I never ever feed her people food, but she will go for the crumbs around the edge of the coffee cake plate on the counter. So I don't know what it is, because from what I understand, cats can't taste sugar.
That's true. Yeah, they don't taste it at least the same way that we taste sugar. Yeah, I don't know maybe it's the cinnamon. I don't know, but she goes for it. So I just, and she'll do that with oatmeal too. I take care of my mom, and I'll put my mom's oatmeal out on the counter in the morning. And if I don't make sure that Simone is secured, the oatmeal will be half eaten. So that's another thing. But those are reasons to keep the cat off the counter, and of course cleanliness reasons. But I'm just wondering if there's anything else I'm missing, because she walks once and back once, and then she's done for the day, literally. Yeah, for me it's the food. Chris, did you have one? I don't know.
Well, no, you said you didn't like it, so
yeah, because she ate my soup.
Well, no, you told me that you didn't like that before.
Yeah,
you said I don't like her on the counter.
She was trying to eat my sandwich.
Okay, so it's food then for you, Jason, because you like your food.
Well, I don't want to share my food with the cat. I don't.
No, not at all. I don't either. And she'll, on the coffee table, she'll try and she'll stick her nose in the water glass or in the coffee cup, and whatever. And it's like, no. That's where I draw the line. I don't let her do that at all. It's not a healthy thing to do at all. So, okay. So I see why. Okay. Well,
Yep.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And good luck with Ginger. She's beautiful. She looks like she's such a sweet kitty, and she's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We love her.
I can see why.
She's pretty cute. So we've got one more, Kay Lucchini. What's your first name? I keep calling you Kay Lucchini. I don't even know if I'm saying your name right. Is that close?
Lucchini is correct. It's my husband's name. I'm Kathy.
Kathy. Okay. All right. I'll try and remember, or Chris will remind me. I'm so bad.
No, it's totally fine. When I set up my Twitter account, it's because we live in Orange County in California, and we live in a fire zone. And the reason I did it is because social media is much more reliable and quicker in terms of evacuation notices and fire notices and things like that than the news. And I figured it out the hard way. So when I set up my Twitter account, I didn't think about maybe using a pseudonym or something like that. So I just did Kay Lucchini because that's who I am, Kathy Lucchini. So there you go. There's my life story.
Well, the more you know.
Yeah. So I don't know how to change. I don't think you can change. I tried to go into my profile to change the name to like Kathy L or something so that you and other people would know that, but that's okay. It's Kathy.
It's all good. So we have one more speaker, and then we're going to do the draw for the prize. I'm not sure what system you've got set up, Chris, if you're going to do a wheel or if you're just going to do a random number and count from the top of the space.
Jason, the wheel is ready.
You've done the wheel? That's amazing.
I've done the wheel.
That's amazing. Kimberly Bond, hello.
Hello. So I just want to kind of, hi, thank you. Nobody's asking for your opinion. I want to kind of piggy off what Cheryl was saying about the water bowls. When I moved in with a friend of mine a few years ago, she had 3 cats. And between the 2 of us, we had 4 dogs. And it was kind of chaotic. And the cats were kind of starting to urinate in different places and in my room. And so she started trying to do research on that, and in the process discovered that you actually need to separate the food bowl from the water bowl from the lid. And because cats don't like the smell of their food while they're drinking.
Weird.
Yeah. Actually, that's funny that you should say that, because Duncan, our other son, he does the same thing. He's actually told me that. He's actually told me that he has the food separated from the water. And I think his roommate told him that. What? So that makes sense. So her food is downstairs and then she drinks from the dog's water. And today I saw her dip and sip. I saw that today with my own eyes and I'm like, that's weird. But obviously it's not. Obviously it's their nature.
We need to get a video of that.
It's in their DNA. Okay, I'm just going to have like the cat cam on me going 24/7.
Oh, so I can catch. You know what I do to get footage of the dogs? You have to be ready for everything.
Yeah.
I still missed the video. How many times did Beaker jump off the couch on Bunsen when she was a puppy, and we missed it every single time? I wish I got that video. She would like WWE.
Sorry. Yeah, WWE. We've interrupted. I'm so sorry.
Oh, off the rails again. Go back to Kimberly. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I was enjoying it. Honestly, it was great. But yeah, that was what helped. We had the litter box in one room. We actually got a big, like a storage container, cut a hole in it and put litter in that. And that actually became their litter box. We had 2 of those. And we put their food on the other side of the room from that. And then their water, they shared the water bowl with the dogs, and it was all in the kitchen. And once we did that, everything was fine. They were in heaven. So try, if you just pick up our water from downstairs, and that'll be good.
One of our friends just said, just DM'd me, Liz did, and she said, just an FYI, cats tend to prefer to drink moving water. That's why they dip their paws. Something about moving water is less likely to be contaminated, which I bought for Duncan. Well, I bought it for his cat for Christmas because I buy things for people and pets. I bought him one of those water bowls that is moving water, and Gord actually has that for his cats and dogs at the farm. So that might be the next investment is the moving water bowl.
Yeah, her 2 cats loved that, our 3 cats, and we also had a cat that drank out of the toilet, so that was interesting as well.
Ginger has checked out the toilet. Yep, and so. I know I put the lid down every time. That's why all the lids are down. But we haven't really had to worry about that because Bunsen doesn't drink out of the toilet.
He doesn't.
Beaker will if she's absolutely very thirsty and there's no water. And that's my clue to go, I better check their water. And I've watched Ginger kind of checking it out. So
weirdo cats. Well, thanks for your suggestions there, Kimberly. I appreciate that. Ramona has one quick question by DM, Chris. How old is Ginger? Do we know?
They thought she was 7 months old when we got her. So she.
I thought she was 2.
No.
Oh, I know nothing.
She's very small. She's very much a baby.
Oh, is she going to get bigger?
She might if we feed her more food. But I don't want her to get wider. I just.
Oh, that's why she's so tiny. I was like, she's a little cute little cat. I guess she's still like growing. Okay, I get it now.
She might still be growing, or she might be done growing. I don't know, but she's a very young cat.
Oh. All right, it's time for the wheel. Somebody's gonna win a prize. Go ahead, Chris. Spin it.
Yeah, I have to click to spin and then double check to see if you're still here. So I hope you're here.
If you pieced out, you snooze, you lose.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the wheel. Somebody's going to win.
No way. No way. It's Kimberly Bond.
Oh, Kimberly Bond won.
Speaking. That's amazing.
Oh, that's cute. Okay.
We have a winner.
We'll get our sponsor in touch with Kimberly Bond for the prize. Woody-boo. All right, what a great space. We talked about cats for more than we talked about dogs today. That's so good and new.
Well, and we did still talk about turtles. They find their way into our chat.
Oh, yeah. I think I took away my turtle sound effect, though. Nope.
I like turtles.
It's still there. It's still there.
I like turtles.
It's still there. It's still there.
I like turtles.
Paula has her hand up. Go ahead, Paula.
I just want to say really quick to Kathy, kind of a geeky thing here, but I don't know if you have iOS, if that's different with Twitter, but you can edit your profile, and if you move your cursor up to your name, you can change it. So I know that can be done.
Great,
so.
thank you. That's helpful information. I'll try it.
I think you can change
make sure it's.
Oh, go ahead, Paula.
I'm sorry. You can change your name, but I don't know, you can't change the @ right? Is that correct?
Yeah, you got to request Twitter to change your @
Right, but you can change your name. So yeah, I thought I hope I had that right. But anyway, okay.
No, thank you. I do most of this on my cell phone. So, but that's fine. I'll try it. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
When we changed for April Fools to Moose and Goose, it was still set at Bunsen Burner BMD, and I was like, oh well, maybe people are going to see that and not as great a prank. All right, I think we're going to close out the space. What do you think, Chris? That was a good space.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, thanks for coming to Spaces Unleashed Pet Chat today, folks. We had a great crew of people, great stories, great questions. Thanks for being part of this community that shows up every Saturday to just have a wholesome discussion about pets. It's really uplifting. In the nest, all of those things are going to go away. Special thanks to our sponsor, barkandbeyondsupply.com. They have stuff for your dogs. They have stuff for your cats. They have awesome joint supplements, and they have maple bacon ice cream for your dogs. That's amazing. Up in the Nest is also a link to our newsletter. Consider signing up for that. And also, Paula mentioned that we have a private Twitter account that any level of our patrons that sign up get access to. So if you haven't thought about signing up on our patron page, it's the link that's up there. Next week on Tuesday in Science Chat, we have Dr. Zazie Todd, who is a dog behavior scientist. So we're going to be talking about all things dog science on Tuesday. She's the author of a book named Wag and a cat book. Do you know what the cat book is called, Chris? She just sent it to us. Oh man, I can't remember. Anyways, the dog book is called Wag. It's really good.
I had my hands on the Wag book today.
It's called Purr.
It's called Purr.
Yeah, the cat book's called Purr. And it's all about things you can do to have a healthy and happy relationship with your animal. So we are going to pick her brain about all things dogs and cats on Tuesday. And we'll actually have a real scientist instead of just somebody like me that just reads the science. I guess I'm sort of a scientist. But
Where's your lab?
I know. I knew you were going to say that. I have a lab. It's at my school. Okay. Take care, everybody. Thank you so much for coming tonight.
Thank you, everybody.
For science, empathy, and cuteness. Space closing in 3, 2, 1.